Hi guys, welcome back to another Matchbox Garage video. I'm Rob, and today I'm going to attempt to take this number 13 American Loco 440 from very shabby to very shiny. I'm not a train man, to be honest. I got this as part of my kind of boot sale purchases last week, and there were a lot of people in the comments that wanted to see this done, so I thought, well, why not give it a go, right? So we start by removing the rivets, drill down the centre of the post, remove the flange, and tap that hole. Remember to use your lubrication, you don't want to snap your piece in the hole. And using my very handy vise. So, choo choo choo. Here is the Locomotive. It's quite a large piece compared to, some of the smaller cars that I did. So yeah, in my hands, it was a good size. And I thought, I could add some. Some kind of this is a custom, to be honest. It's not a restoration. The green and the red I weren't feeling. Obviously, someone had covered it over in some kind of chrome paint. But I thought I'll just kind of have a bit of creative license. Like I say, I'm not a trained person. Well, I wasn't a trained person. I think I am now. But I just wanted to repaint it in kind of colour with some details that I thought looked cool, and that's certainly what I've did. So it may certainly offend some, but to me this thing's an absolute belter. Now a bit of damage here, so I needed to figure out a way of trying to bring that dent out. Obviously the wheels come off. Now I could only visibly see one rivet on the bottom of the casing there, and at this stage trying to figure out how the front of the base is attached, because that's certainly, and from certain little angles you probably can't see there. Maybe from this angle you can see that there's a post underneath, and I needed to find out or figure out how to get to that in order to obviously remove the remainder of the base. So I thought, well, let's just get it into some the caustic soda, take off all the paint, and perhaps I'll might be able to see underneath all the layers of crud what I need to do. So I use boiling water, and today, turn that off, and today I used 3 teaspoons of caustic soda. I thought it was quite a lot of material there, perhaps it needs a little extra just to get off all the paint. And just a few minutes later, this is what we're left with. Obviously I'm wearing my gloves, had eye protection, ventilation. This is nasty stuff. So the wheels there, it's taken off the chrome paint, but it appears to be some kind of black paint on there originally. The main body here looks nice and clean. I think all the paint was removed from this, and now you can really see that bit of damage there. And then there's still a little bit of red paint which you couldn't really see before, because again it was covered in the chrome, but with a wire wheel, of course, that comes off. And only now could I see that piece in the centre there was of different colour or different material to the rest of the casting, which to be honest, it's kind of like it just popped off in there by friction. So I just kind of put a screwdriver to it, banged it down, and it just popped out. I think it's coated in, I don't know, maybe it's a brass or something like that. But yeah, that'll be left natural. Yeah, here's a gross bit. Like I say, I was trying to find out how to remove this rivet. I was Really hoping this won't poop. And to be honest, I normally do a sniff test, but today, no thank you. So that was all washed out. I bleached my eyes, bleached my mouth, my everything, and I can get back to the work in here. And I took a screwdriver, took a drill bit straight through the chimney at the top there, and there was a rivet down at the bottom, although I couldn't see it, but I managed to take the head off of it, and thankfully I was able to get that base off. So as you can see, the hole there drilled all the way through. So unfortunately I can't get another screw or rivet down there because it would need to be probably 1 inch long. As I kind of sit here with it now in my hands, it's solid with just that one screw at the back, so I'm not concerned about the one at the front. But just having a little look at the wheels, make sure they're all straight and true, which they are. So at this stage I shall now give them a good old buff up using the wire wheel and my fake Dremel. And here's a kind of before and after. And it was really at this point that I thought those wheels in that kind of natural raw state look beautiful. So they won't be getting painted. I'm going to leave them like that. And same again with the front wheels there. You know, before and after, night and day. You know, after putting in all the effort, it took my hands were cramping. You know, compared to a car, there's like 5 surfaces. With this, there's about 100 surfaces, all different angles, which ways, and so on. So yeah, it took me a long time to get all this buffed up. My hands were hurting, my eyes were hurting, but it's worthwhile. Certainly now, you know, with seeing this final piece. The base I'm going to leave also unpainted, so I'll just put a little bit of the Auto Sol metal polish there, and I'm going to buff it up before your very eyes. So just giving it a little bit of a kind of buff up afterwards. I find with this metal polish that it kind of almost leaves a dark tint to the metal, which does come off, but then you almost need to scrub that off as well. So it's a bit of a kind of, you know, a 3-tier process to get this shiny. But it seems like this gets the real deep dirt out of it. And then give it a bit of a buff, kind of give it a bit of a buff as well with the old wire wall here. This certainly takes off that darker tinge that the metal polish leaves behind. And you might be able to see the difference there with that kind of dark tinge down below, and compared to the lighter one. If you can see that. In person, it's quite a difference, and I don't mind the darker tinge. I just, you know, putting in the effort that I have done on this locomotive, or it's not called a train, is it? I think it's only a train if it's towing something or pulling something or pushing something. Like I say, I'm not up there with the trains and locomotives, so terminology, you'll have to excuse me. I know what a car is. And a bike. But here we are, finally. And if you stuck with me through that, normally I skip this type of thing. So let me know if you want to see this extra detail. You know, some people complain, oh, you know, you didn't show certain parts. You know, you can't keep everybody happy, can you? So again, a little bit of work in detail here too. Just with a little small pair of pliers, and I'm just going to try and straighten out this piece of metal so that it matches the other side. And it wasn't kind of it wasn't flimsy, you know, but obviously at the same time it wasn't super tough. You know, I could easily bend it. What I find with some of this die cast metal though is that if something has bent one way, you try and bend it the other way, it snaps. So I have to be very gentle, very careful. I can't work it too much. You know, I get almost one attempt to try and kind of bend it back. And I'm just using my vise here because it was in the kind of roundabout position that I wanted it in, but there was a kind of a little kink in the centre, and I was hoping that if I just pop it in there in the end of the vise, it would just, you know, just that final little bit of straightening up that I was seeking. And to be honest, I've got the casting right now as we speak in my hand, and yeah, you wouldn't have believed it was ever bent before. So I did a pretty good job on that. Now the tougher part. This one, to be honest, you know, I had to take down the garage, so this is off camera, but yeah, quite tough this one. What I used was a large diameter drill bit. I put the, what would you say, the blunt end into there, kind of held the casting, and then bashed it on my my other vise, which is about 100 times bigger than the one you see here, and it kind of just forced through and just opened that up a little bit. Now again, I tried to work it, I tried to bend it a little bit more, but knowing that this is die cast metal, there's only so much I can do without breaking it even further. So I kind of took it to where I thought was acceptable, it fitted nicely, and we move on. But then it looked lovely though, just those two parts together there, you know, unpainted. I was getting excited at this stage. So we're going to move now on to grey primer. This is the light surface primer by Tamiya. And yeah, you could see all those little intricate pieces. So all the angles that you've got to try and get at. You know, it's almost impossible to give a, I guess, an equal layer of paint on every single surface. You know, just do the best that you can. So at this stage, I just wanted to make sure that, you know, I've covered everything. Simple as that. Some areas are going to be thicker, some areas are going to be thinner, but ultimately everything was covered. And you could probably see just then that it was almost wobbling on that little crocodile clip. Yeah, it was hanging on for dear life, and I nearly lost it. So moving on to the main section of the body here. Again, trying to get in between those stacks. I don't know, what are they stacks? Are they secondary chimneys? I don't know. If someone can kind of give me the anatomy of a train, or what these pieces do or mean or why they're there, that'd be great. Tell you what, the one right at the very front, that was a bell. See? I know what a bell looks like. And then now that everything is dry, this is when I went with the black. So like I say, the original casting was in green and red. I'm going to paint it black with some gold accents. And I'm just going to use a bit of creative license on what I paint gold and etc. Although, funnily enough, after finished, I kind of had a look on Google. It seems that I kind of almost, copied the original, just in a different colour. So, I think the gold accents that I did do are your usual places where you would paint it gold. But yeah, it's quite heavy actually, this little piece, especially when I'm holding on. You can see there, moving it very gingerly. I didn't want that to fall off, and I'd be lying if I told you that it didn't fall off and I had to touch it up again. But those be the joys of die-cast restoration. So getting in there. So this is an enamel paint, and I find with this enamel paint it doesn't require any lacquer afterwards, because the shine that it gives is, as long as you've painted it on properly, you get a beautiful shine, and you can kind of almost see there instantly, that it's beautiful. I kind of shocked myself really on how excited I got about this little train. Like I say, I'm a car man. I'm a biker as well. I've got a motorbike, but yeah, to see this train kind of come alive in front of my eyes with my own hands was pretty exciting. I do have another train as well that I might do. I can't see it around where I'm sitting at the moment, but it's like a later like diesel locomotive. So if you want to see that done, let me know and I'll do that too. But you can see there in that black paint, that is looking good, looking sharp, looking like glass. Very happy. So it's the next day. You'll see I'm wearing a shirt, just been to an interview. Don't know the outcome yet, fingers crossed. But I'm going to take this gold paint now and I'm going to do the little touch-ups, but I'm going to hold off until the final. So just as a little reminder of what she looked like. And the result. How nice is that? In my personal opinion. I think this is an absolute belter. So we see some, you can't really see it perfectly there, but some details in the back, kind of on the, I guess the levers and what have you. But some of that gold paint around. I imagine that being a light on the front, so painted that in white and then left that kind of brass bit. But I love it. But take this opportunity to thank my Patreons and thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you'll stick around for the next one.